Alright guys, I'm working on my link belt 135 spin ace. Got a fuel problem. She's starving for fuel, shutting off.
Wait a minute, what are you doing, Doc?
I need fuel.
First place I went was the water separator. Here's the back of the cab right here. Water separator is right there. Took it apart and it had a little bit of junk in it, but it wasn't too bad. Tried to fire it up, didn't fire. Or it did fire and stayed running for a few minutes and then died. So I'm like, alright, I guess my fuel filter's plugged, which is right here, right next to the thermostat housing. I'm looking at the top of it right there. It's number 3386, I think, Napa fuel filter. Changed that. Still wouldn't run, even after priming it with a little hand pump. So next step, check the screen that's inside the banjo fitting at the bottom of the lift pump. And as you can see, there's a little bit of junk on it. Hopefully you can see this. I'm just pulling it out of the banjo fitting right now. There is some stuff on there, but it's not plugged. I'm going to put that back together and see this washer right here, guys. When you take that banjo fitting apart, there's a washer on the other side of on the back side of the banjo fitting. Don't lose that. Don't lose it. Easy to drop those, and then you end up wasting a lot of time trying to retrieve it. But I want to show you where that banjo fitting is, because there's a lot of banjo fittings on this fuel system, and I'm going to try to get a shot of it. There's the lift pump. The lighting here is terrible. So I'm trying to, there's the top of the lift pump. That's that white round cap. That is the plunger. You use the pump, hand pump to reprime your fuel system if need be. Now there's, see to the right of that round knob or round cap there is a banjo fitting. That's not the one. You want the one underneath on the bottom side. It's a real bear to get to, but that's the one that holds that little filter right there, little screen. So I'm going to clean that, put it back together, and then we'll see if she's going to run. I don't think there's enough junk in there to stop the motor from running, but maybe it was a combination of gunk in the... I did get quite a bit of gunk out of the water separator, and the filter did seem to have, the spin-on filter did seem to have some grit in it, so could be a combination perhaps, we'll see. But I'll put this back together and we'll take it from there. I just wanted to give you a little more detail on this banjo fitting, guys. It's I cleaned it out with some ether, starting fluid. Blow it out really good. It's really not that dirty. But one thing you should know is this little plastic filter threads in here, and you'll see the little grooves. You can use a screwdriver. I just use my thumbnail, but you just want to thread that in, and that's how you get it out. Don't just try to pry it out with a screwdriver. You need to back that out, spin it out. So now she's together and ready to go back. And guys, here's the lift pump. Here's the banjo, the line with the banjo fitting on it. Be very careful not to get dirt in there. Banjo fitting comes up from the bottom. Gotta be a contortionist. Don't forget the washer I was talking about. It goes right on top between the banjo fitting and the bottom of the lift pump. I don't know if you can, probably can't see this very well. It's tough. I'm just using my index finger and middle finger to try to spin it in. I got it started. Luckily on the first try. Usually it can be difficult, especially if you're a big guy. This is a good time to get one of your kids to help you, or find a smaller guy to help get down in here. It's a challenge for me. It's a 17 millimeter nut on these banjo fittings. Alright, I got her pretty snug. I took a panel out that was right in here just to gain access. It's up on the roof there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the plunger on this the mechanical lift pump or the manual lift pump, and just see if I can get it primed now. You can do this. You should be able to feel it pump up. You'll feel it giving you some resistance, but it could take a while, so I'm gonna cut the film here until I get some resistance. I might be here a couple minutes.
2,000 years later. Day 2.
Again, guys, this is the water separator right here. I pre-filled that, but I'm going to go ahead and use this manual pump also, just to purge the air out of the lines. I also pre-filled the fuel filter, the new fuel filter, with some seafoam, just to help clean the injectors on initial fire up. Once you get your tractor running, let it idle for a few minutes so that seafoam purges on through. You really don't want to be working your tractor while it's running on seafoam. It does not hurt it to let it idle on it. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of resistance, not much. I'm kind of surprised at this point it's not giving me more. Huh. Something's not right. I got fuel up to the filter, so I'm putting the spin-on filter back on now. That's why I wasn't getting any back pressure on that manual pump. But now I got put the spin-on back on nice and snug, and we'll see what we're getting now. It should pump on up. Like I said, I already pre-filled it with seafoam, so it shouldn't take too long. All right, so the tractor's up and running now. It took a little while for me to get the fuel system reprimed with that manual pump. Again, this is my 135 Spin Ace. I think these Isuzu diesels are all pretty similar throughout the link belt line, and probably JCB, and I'm not sure what else they use these Isuzus in. But one thing that happened that I'll mention here is when I was getting access to the little Teflon filter that's in the banjo fitting on the bottom of the manual primer pump, I inadvertently broke a piece of oil line or fuel line that goes between the oil pan and the bottom of the injector pump. So when I fired it up and went back to work, I noticed I was leaving a trail of oil, and it was leaking pretty profusely, and you can see the mess I have under here now from that. And of course this diesel oil is just pitch black. And I want to try to show it to you here if I can. Get up under here, it's kind of dark. But there's the filter. And you'll see right by the kind of the bottom of the filter, you'll see that nipple sticking out. Hopefully it's showing it. Yeah, I see the nipple right there at the end of the hose. That goes to the banjo fitting on the very bottom of the injector pump. And I don't know if we can see it from here. I don't think we can. I think the filter's blocking the view of that. But you just want to be careful. And all it is a piece of 3/8 fuel line. So you just want to be careful that when you're in there, doing that work, making those repairs and servicing those filters, it'd be very easy to break this hose because it becomes very brittle over time. This, I'm sure, was the original hose from 2007. This is an 07 machine, and it just broke without, I mean, barely even touched it. I didn't even realize that it happened. So I just thought I'd mention it. And while you're in there doing those repairs on your filters and so forth, I would recommend you get a little, what is it, about 10-12 inch piece of 3/8 fuel line, and just go ahead and replace that. Just hose clamps that hold it on. That definitely could save yourself a lot of trouble later. And anyway, she's up and running, and that's it for this video. Hopefully it helps.